What's going on, everybody? This Afro Think Tank. I want y'all to listen to this question from this black man, then I'm going to come back and answer it.
Only in America, a Russian immigrant can come to the United States of America, go to a black event, start a fight. Russian white immigrant comes to a black event, starts a fight with black people, gets roughed up a little bit. He don't even get his ass whipped. And the white patriots who claim to be patriots, who claim to be anti-immigration or anti-immigrant, or want to deport all these people, are going to take the side of the white immigrant instead of the black people from the United States of America. Somebody make that make sense to me. And they're going to try to win an election on it. Somebody make that make sense to me, while white America patriots will take the side of a Russian immigrant over black people. And you don't understand why black people don't trust the Republican Party. This is point in case. Fix yourself, baby.
All right, you heard that question, right? I'll tell you why. Because white people in America don't support black people. They never have and never will. If you ever watch boxing, right, you will see an African American boxer go overseas and fight somebody in the UK, fight somebody in Ukraine, fight somebody in Russia, and all the white Americans will be rooting for the Russian. They'll be rooting for the Ukrainian. They'll be rooting for the British person. If you look at any boxing match or MMA match in America, right, where the African American represents the American home team, you will see all the white audience go for the other guy. So if it could be a Ukrainian, it could be a Mexican shit. It could be anybody but the black. Everybody goes against the black American, even though the black Americans are the number one fighters in the world. Number one, period. And I guess maybe it's definitely jealousy for sure. But if you just pay attention to all combat sports, when it's on the individual basis, any individual sport, right? Even if the American is black, representing in America, white people will support anybody else other than that black person. Now, in the UK, it's different. Those white people will support their black British boxers and MMA fighters over anybody, right? That's one thing I do like about the British. They are loyal to whoever is British or whoever is representing their flag. But the white people in America, every chance they get, they will go against a black person in any combat sport or any individual sport. If you look at Serena and Venus Williams, notice anytime they went against a Russian, Ukrainian, any type of European, all the white Americans went against the American during the match. Now, what they do is, once the American wins, all of a sudden at the end, they be like, yeah, America, yeah, they'll play it off and act like they were supporting the whole time. But you can hear the crowd, you can hear the boos during the matches, whether it be tennis or whether it be boxing, MMA, judo, it doesn't matter. Look at any combat sports. It's always the African American representing the highest level of combat skill on the global scale, and every single white American will drop all that fake patriotic shit and they will go for the white guy every single time. Because when it comes to going against black people, white people get real pan-European. They get real pan, and when I say white people, I'm talking about America, because to be honest, America's the only place that white people really exist. Everybody, all the other Europeans are cosplaying white culture, which is white people cosplaying black culture and stealing all our shit and taking credit for it, right? But in America, where white was invented in the 1600s, they have zero loyalty to African-American athletes. If you look at track and field, they don't even try Olympics. They just give up. They just, if it's the one white guy, running, they just be like, they know he's going to lose, right? That's why they stick with the Winter Olympics. That's why they keep adding sports that don't require physical activity and shit, because they can't win, right? But anyway, yeah. White people have always been against black people. Every chance they get an opportunity to go against us, they're going against us. That's always been the case. So that's why you saw the Russian, right? The Russian who came to America, right, slapped. I guess maybe that's what it was. Maybe the because Russians, they're violent. All right. Russians are, when they get drunk, they're alcoholics too. They got a big problem there. Russians are very violent, thugs, right? They get real gangster when they drink, and maybe that's why he slapped the black dude, because no regular white person would did that shit. Not in America. They ain't that stupid. They stupid, but not that motherfucking stupid. So now that makes sense. I ain't know the dude was Russian, so that makes sense why he Russian. He probably thought he was gonna get away with that shit. We fucked around and he found that shit out. Not in America. What the fuck you talking about, right? But of course, all of the white people, if you notice, the white people don't even care that it was the Russian who started the fight. Even though they all know that the white person started the fight. But it doesn't matter. What matters is they can use this for their white supremacy agenda, because remember, they're the victim. They need to be the victim now, right? So they're going to run with this shit. They're going to campaign on this shit. Never mind the video of those crazy-ass white people in North Carolina who harassed a black guy, flipped his truck over and hurt his dog. What white person hurt dogs? They hurt the dog because he was owned by the black guy? That's when you know you evil. Because white people, they don't give a fuck about nobody else but that dog. So if they hurt the dog, you can tell they're a special type of evil motherfucker right there, right? They ain't care about none of that. They don't care about none of the police brutality. They justify all police shootings. They just, if a bunch of white dudes drag a black dude behind a pickup truck, they'll justify. They say, well, the black guy shouldn't have been there. They'll say all kind of shit. But when they get their ass whipped, which is often, that's why they need those guns, because they can't fight. They're not athletic enough to compete with us physically. It's always been that way throughout history. That's why they've always taken us to do the physical labor, because they're just not built for it. That's why they took us to bring us to do slavery. They needed those guns, because I guarantee you, if they didn't have those guns, there's no way they'd have went to Africa to get a single African to slave for them. They never was about that life. Their swords and shields was not gonna cut it when they stepped on that African soil, because they would have got their ass whooped. And don't get it twisted. We was fucking their asses up. Them Europeans was getting fucked up. Best believe they would have had more African. They would have captured more Africans. But they didn't, because they was getting murdered. We was murdering the shit out of the white people when they was coming too deep up in Africa. We was slaughtering those motherfuckers. We was slaughtering them bitches like pigs, I'm trying to tell you. Don't let them think they had it easy. Trust me. They work for every motherfucking African that they captured. Like, I'm telling they did. So don't let them think they had that shit easy. Even with that motherfucking gun, they still got a disadvantage, right? But without that damn gun, they can't do nothing. They pudgy and soft like marshmallows. They got to do steroids. Notice all the big white dudes on steroids. All of them. All the big puffy dudes in the gym, they on steroids. A real big white guy is fat, is thick, like those what do you call it? Those strong men. That's a real strong white man right there. Them big old country Brock Lesnar motherfuckers. That's a real strong white man. All the ones with the muscles, all that steroids. They don't look like that naturally. They don't come that way naturally. Trust me, right? So yeah, white people, they have no loyalty. There's no patriotism. You're not an American. That's why I don't understand why these African Americans trying to give up their race for nationality, when it's the nationality built and created by white people for white people only, not for you Americans. The only reason I call myself African American is because I am a citizen of America, but I always knew, and they will continue to remind us that we are not American. American means white. America is white, right? That's their culture. That's their identity. American. Right? So when they see you, that's why they always put an asterisk. That's why you can't just be an American. Because that's the case, FBA should just drop foundational black and just call themselves American. But they can't do that, because white people will never allow you just to be an American. The only time white people ever try to say that you're an American is when they see that African American is connecting with somebody else that's black that's not American. Anytime they feel like they're about to lose their asset, which is the African American, to somebody else, because keep in mind, you're not American, you're a second-class citizen, and they want you to stay a second-class citizen, at least in their mind. They want you to be the second-class citizen. Remember, without black African Americans, there is no culture in America. There's no reason for people to vacation to America. There's nothing to sell about America. You can't advertise America without black. All our contributions is the reason why people come to America. Why would anybody come to America to see white people? They don't come to America to see white people and white people culture and do white people things. Europeans will stay in Europe for that shit. Everybody, if they want to go experience real European culture, you go to Europe. Nobody comes here to see white people in America, ever. Everything that makes America attractive is us. So they don't want to lose us, as we are the asset and the thing that brings in money to America. But we are not, in fact, American. We are their second-class asset. All right. And that's how they want to keep us. But when they see their asset, right, being taking it away, when they see their assets going away, when they see what they can perceive as an asset, finding pride into themselves and connecting themselves to their original, their original frame, they don't like that because they feel like they're losing their investment. They're losing all their hard work. They're losing the thing that makes them money. So on one hand, yeah, they will root for an American football team. They'll root they'll root to say, oh, America got gold medals in the Olympics. They'll root for the gold medal, but they're not rooting for the black guy who got that gold medal, right? But any time they get a chance to root against a black man, they root against a black woman, and they will root for any white person every day. All of a sudden, these white Americans become Polish. These white Americans become Irish. These white Americans become Ukrainian. These white Americans become British. White Americans metamorphosize depending on what white is over here representing their whiteness, right? Just like on March, when the St. Patrick's Day, right? All white people are all of a sudden Irish. Every white person will tell you, I'm part Irish, because those Irish people still hold on to a semblance of ethnic culture and pride. That's why they attach themselves to the Irish, because, they say, oh yeah, I got something in there, right? I'm not just empty white, because whiteness is empty. Whiteness is devoid of culture. Whiteness has no culture. All whiteness is a construct of white supremacy and capitalism meant to enrich the well-to-do, right? While letting all the poor white people believe that they have something, which is their expired white supremacy card that never actually worked, but it allowed them to be the pawns in the machine and the divide and conquer amongst the peasants. But yeah, trust and believe, yeah, they will always and forever, ever go against the African American. Even if we're representing this country, they will always go against us. They did. Think about it. We went over there and won World War I and II for them. We were the best pilots in World War II, the best pilots in World War I, right? We saved Europe. We were the best ground troops in World War I and II. We literally saved Europe from the Nazis, black people, legendary stories in Europe about our accomplishments. But when we came back, guess what? After all that hoopla, they still said, fuck you. They still hung us. They still threatened us. They still lynched us. Matter of fact, they did it because we were heroes. They were so pissed off at the accomplishments of African-American soldiers over there in Europe that they were jealous of our achievements, and they killed us for it back in America. That's how fucked up Europeans are in America. That's how fucked up white people are in the brain. You have never been America, even though we're the most patriotic Americans in America, yet we have never been accepted as American by those who created America under, the genocide of the Native Americans and the enslavement of Africans. Anyways, all I gotta say is Afro Think Tank, learn something, teach something, I'm out. Wait. Before you go, for all my subscribers and philanthropists out there, I'm building a solar power community water bowl system in Nigeria. It's going to cost between $5,000 and $6,000. I'm trying to raise money. If you want to participate and help me build this solar power water system, please donate to the Cash App and put solar water in the notes. Solar water in the notes. I'll put PayPal, Stripe, and Zelle. Anyway, thank you. That's all I got to say. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out. Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.